She makes me laugh. All right, for more on this, let's bring in Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt, who was in the spin room at the debate. Senator, good to see you. So we all know that Democrats, especially in the Senate, but a lot of House members too, have been defending Joe Biden's failures for the last 3.5 years. But I want to know, what is the temperature? Give me the tenor of Democrats in the Senate after Thursday's debate. Have they changed their tune? Are they actually wed betting behind closed doors starting Friday morning? What's going on in the Dem Party?
Well, first of all, guys, it's totally not fair for you guys to lead in with those cackles there as I'm listening in. It's hard for me to not laugh out loud when I hear her cackling that. But the good news for them on the inside is the Senate's not in this week, and so they've not had to answer tough questions about Joe Biden's performance. I will tell you, though, being in that spin room after the debate, there are a couple observations. One is there were no Democrats to be found. Normally, you're there talking about how well your candidate did or points. They were gone. It was a ghost town by way of the Democrats. And the reporters, who are ready to carry the water for Joe Biden, looked depressed. I mean, they looked like somebody had just killed their dog. I mean, that's how bad it was in there. And so the results were pretty obvious from the debate. Trump did really well. He had a command of the issues, a great performance. He, talked about, an optimistic vision for America. Joe Biden, that was historically terrible. That's true. And also, they can't run away from the record. That's the other thing. The other, outside of just how bad he was and the cognitive decline, his record's terrible, whether it's energy, whether it's the border, whether it's the economy. And I think what you're also seeing, guys, the final point here is this has been true for his tenure. It's gotten worse. The Democrats have just gotten away with either hiding him in the basement or having the mainstream media cover for him. So this sort of shock, we can't believe how bad it is, they've known all along. The same people that lied about COVID, the Hunter Biden laptop, lied about all these issues, they lied about Joe Biden. It just, they couldn't get away from it because it was in everybody's living room last week at the debate. And so they got a real problem. And I think that's why you see all these polls showing Donald Trump expanding his lead.
Right. All the stories, the Axios story, Senator, about everyone in the White House is freaking out. Shut up. You knew. You had to have known. We could watch on camera for the last 1.5 years and see what was going on with him cognitively. You shut up. Nobody cares about you and you wringing your hands inside the White House. You're part and parcel part of the problem. Not you, of course, Senator. But I want to get to this. Karine Jean-Pierre was trying to do some sort of cleanup today at the White House in the briefing room. She was asked about the president's performance using the language that Nancy Pelosi had used, although she hasn't spoken to him since the debate, by the way, and was asked whether it was an episode at the debate debacle or a condition. And her answer was this.
Well, what I can tell you is that he had a cold and a bad night. I would not see this as an episode. I would see this as what it was and what we believe it to be, which is it was a bad night. And he did, on top of that, he had a cold. And that is the reality of the situation. That is the reality of what happened that night.
It was a cold and a bad night. It was what it was and what we believe it to be. She thinks that the press are going to sit on that, and the Democrats who are turning on him, too.
Well, that is on par with, remember Baghdad Bob, sort of nothing, everything's fine. I mean, she's really bad at her job, but she has an impossible task here of sort of, dismissing what everybody saw with their own eyes. And again, just a few weeks earlier, she stood at that podium and was talking about, this is a right-wing conspiracy. These are cheap fakes. Trying to somehow act like him moseying off in front of world leaders, not knowing where he wasn't something that was very obvious to the whole world. This is clear. It's happening, but they're stuck, guys. They're stuck because they blew through their primaries. They didn't want any competition. And so the party of the Democratic Party, the so-called party of democracy now, is talking about sort of overthrowing and dismissing all of those votes cast for their nominee. They can't do it. The matchup is set. It's Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, and Donald Trump's going to win. And I think it's going to be a landslide.
Senator Eric Schmitt, thank you so much. It was great to see you. But we can